is wonder food.
Pitti Immagine Uomo
has always tried to do something appropriate to the Fortezza di Basso every year. And each time we've tried to identify themes that are current in the world that our event is part of. In this case, nutrition, food, is currently one of the most important issues in the Italian market and the international market.
And one company knows what it takes to tickle even the most discerning of Italian taste buds. Italian kings of catering, Galateo Ricevimenti, are in demand.
Galateo, buonasera.
Salumi, cosa c'è di già pronto di sicuro? Vai ragazzi, vai di qua, via. Vai, vai. Passaggio, passaggio. Si passa sotto, vai su, chicken salad. Vai. Quella che ci può stare le incrociamo. C'è la forchetta per favore.
This is one of the most challenging weeks of their entire year.
Vanno divisi, c'è 2 righe ragazzi, va diviso la roba per 2. Fatto bene, dammi delle alzatine d'argento.
Sono andati i gatti? Dov'è?
Questo è Martini e quello è Margherita.
In just 5 days, this team will feed over 4,500 people. From small buffets to high-profile cocktail parties. And the piece de resistance, perfectly choreographed fashion picnic for 650 people. With an ever-changing schedule. While the fashionistas flock to see the latest and greatest, on the outskirts of the city, Kitchen HQ is cooking up a storm.
Così ne leviamo. Io te ne infarina, altrimenti nell'uovo.
This week is the Pitti week. We're doing about 12, 13 events every day, and they go from about 100 people to 700, 800 people per event. So, do the multiplication yourself. It's a whole lot of people.
But these people don't come to this restaurant. The restaurant goes to them. And it's not just food that travels. Tables, chairs, glasses, table covers, even ovens and freezers. It's an entirely movable feast.
You could think of catering as a circus if you ask me, because each time we're in a different place, and each time we have to invent everything, really, from A to Z. So we have to set everything up. This is serious moving. It's not a restaurant. We're able to transport a whole restaurant to a location, but the hard part is being able to transport it. So each day, we have to redo it all from scratch. That's the beauty of always being on the cutting edge, right?
Simone founded Galateo 17 years ago. But today, it's his partner Laura Tossetti who takes the lead.
Queste sono come appoggio. Te ce l'hai nelle modifiche o ce l'hai da qualche altra parte, perché ce l'hanno chiesti ieri. La parte che mi piace di più, quella che mi viene meglio in generale, è la
The part I like best in general is creation. Creating an event is the part that's fun for me. I like it, and it's easy for me.
Posso dare libero
Of course, when I give free rein to my imagination, the ideas just flow. What's harder for me is to put on the brakes.
This week, the designer clients have ideas of their own.
With fashion, the problem with fashion is the colors. You could say they always give us a hard time because they want to make the most incredible colors that simply don't exist. And we have to invent it, so we have to make appetizers in the color that's in fashion. We have to make huge leaps, then lots of experimentation to find ingredients that are as close as possible to the color that the art director wants. Colors are a whole drama in themselves. You can only do this kind of work if you have a passion for it, if you really like it. And it is satisfying when an event comes together and comes off well. Otherwise, no one would do it. But it's not just any job. It's a job in which during the winter, when you don't have that much to do, you work on new recipes and new problems. Because unlike the classical restaurant tradition, you have to be able to bring our dishes anywhere. To the middle of a garden, to the middle of a park, to the top of a tower.
The entire kitchen staff is put to the test every day because we're always under pressure from our clients to invent something new. Our priority is always to customize our work for our clients. So it's often the case that we have to experiment and experiment to perfect a dish or to make a plate successful.
And the testing has just hit deadline. The first event of the week. Palazzo Vecchio. Dating back to 1299, this impressive structure is the seat of the mayor and city council. But tonight, the palace is being transformed. In just 3 hours, over 600 people will fill these halls, and they'll head straight to the food table.
These tables will be red. They choose the color red for the evening, and everything matches the red table linens.
Fortunately for Chef, tonight's color stretches only to the decorations. In charge of this evening's gathering.
Should start at 8 p.m., right, Pino? At 8? When are they coming? At 6:30. There's one table for food, one for the beers, and 2 for the drinks. This setup will take about 3 hours.
Just unloading the van takes a good chunk of that time.
Allora, naturalmente il cameriere che si approccia al catering.
Of course, a waiter who wants to work in catering should know that the job is much more tiring than working in a restaurant. Because waiters in restaurants have their tables and chairs in the same place every day, and all they have to do is set the table. In our work, we start from scratch. In fact, you go to the warehouse, load up, the van is delivered and loaded by the people from the warehouse. You arrive at the location, which could be an empty shed or a big villa, a palace. And every event is truly like giving birth, because it starts from scratch.
Mauro is an old hand at this transformation. He's been with Galateo from the start.
La Galateo è nata nel 1900.
Galateo started in 1995, so it's been 17 years because of Simone's strong desire to do it. He had experience as a waiter for another Florentine catering company.
The company's name refers to the art of entertaining.
Quindi lui ha iniziato con un ufficetto di.
So he began with a modest office of 7 square meters in Cardin, which is the town where he was born, where we still live and where his parents live too.
A organizzare piccoli ricevimenti, matrimoni.
He began with small receptions, weddings.
Nei primi anni l'attività
In the early years, the business has really doubled, year after year, in terms of revenue and numbers of events. In Florence, there were not as many caterers as there are now.
And those competitors are always waiting to snap up Galateo's business. No matter what the customer demands, Laura has to make sure everything runs smoothly. And she starts with the right team. Florence